Well, welcome back to the channel. Thanks for tuning back in. I anticipated on making a lot more videos than I have been. I realize this is only my third video. And I realize that making videos is a lot more difficult than I actually thought it was going to be. But thanks for sticking it out, and figured I'd do a little shop update, get you guys caught up on what I'm doing, projects I'm working on right now. And try to make some more videos. So right now I've been working on well, I'll say this, I did make a video where I made this, but being cheap and using my phone, I turned the phone the wrong way and it had the big black bars on each side of it, and it was horrible. So I just told myself, nah, we're just gonna take that one as a loss and forget about it. So I had ended up not even editing it or anything. I didn't mess with it. I just decided that was it looked horrible. I wasn't even gonna mess with it. So live and learn, right? And eventually, hopefully, as this stuff goes on, I'll get some better camera equipment, an actual camera, instead of using my phone, and we'll get that fixed up, get some better editing software, and maybe it won't be so hard to make these videos. So, what we've been working on. We've got a 93 Jeep Cherokee that we built for trail rig a long time ago, quite a while, a few years ago. And I was trying to put a bumper back together to get a tire carrier for the spare. And so what I ended up doing was I just threw a rectangle tube bumper back together real quick a few years ago, and it's got to the point where I kind of want to address it, fix it up, change it, fix it, make it a little bit better than it was before. So this is what we got so far. And you see it's just a stock, I think it's 2x4 rec tubing. I cut some 2x3, I think, mounting tubes, cut it down so that the bolt that goes through, the shackle bolt, goes through right here and it ties it all up. So I cut this all back and cleaned this all up, welded the nuts in there so that I could bolt through the bottom of the frame rails. Pretty common. Lots of guys are doing it that way. I ended up making these mounts for the tire carrier, and the tire carrier just swings down. It's nothing great, it's nothing fancy, it doesn't swing, it lays down basically when you unhook it, it lays down, basically lays down like that to the ground, and you can pull your tire off, roll it down on the ground. I thought without wanting to make a hinge that was trying to carry all the weight, I thought this way would do pretty quick and pretty easy. So I made that a couple of years ago, and I took it apart and cleaned up some of my less good welds, cleaned up some of the welds on it, and got it all put back together. It needs paint and put back on the bumper, and bumper put back on the Jeep. But this is what I wanted to do. In my haste of making the bumper quickly, trying to just get it on, get it out of the way, I put these little chunks on, and they don't look good. They don't really protect much, and it doesn't look clean. So my thought was, cut these guys off and build a plate, some sort of a plate that goes over the back of the quarter panel, and something that cleans up where the light's at. Make it look a little bit better. Really, functionality wise, this is pretty strong, but it doesn't look great. So that's the project. We're gonna start working on that and see what we can do. Okay, so you guys have probably seen this a million times, but I thought I'd show you. So that's the back of the bumper, and this part is naturally just covered over. The steel goes through, and the bumper attaches with some brackets that bolt into these bolts. So what the guys do is they just chop open this section, and then they can slide that tubing back down inside the pocket of the unibody, and they mount through those holes, just like if you were to bolt on a trailer hitch for one of these Cherokees. And right there, sunlight can pick it up, is a shackle bolt that comes through that interferes with the side of that bracket, and so that's why I cut that section down. You can see it on both sides. Kind of a pain in the ass for these bolts. They go in pretty far, so I've loosened that one, both of them up to slide it out, because originally when I made it, I didn't make it with the notch, with the channel, with a cutout on it. I just drilled a hole, and I totally forgot about it and had a hell of a time getting it out. So that's what. Okay, so I got the bumper mounted, and looking at it, it looks okay. It looks a lot better than I thought it did, except for this gap underneath here doesn't look good, and it doesn't offer any protection for the lights. It doesn't offer any protection here. I could probably put a piece coming down. So I think I'm gonna save these pieces on here, and I'm just gonna fill in the area under the light, make that look a little bit better, and perhaps I'll take a piece down here. Maybe it's a lot better than I thought it did. So I'm gonna leave those small bumper return pieces on, and I'm just gonna fill in underneath the lights, and possibly down below the bottom side of the bumper, to kind of protect and tie in the bottom side of the quarter panel. I don't know how good that's gonna look, so I may end up leaving those off, may put them on, may add something to the bottom of the bumper. Not 100% sure on how all that's gonna tie in and look. What I will do first is I will make cardboard templates, and get them onto the Jeep, tape them on, transfer them to see how they look, and then proceed with steel at that point to take the cardboard templates off and trace them out onto the steel, and then cut them out and weld them on. So how I do it is I use a specific type of cardboard. It's the only cardboard that works good for me. I've seen other guys use lots of different other cardboards, but I find that the sugary cereal cardboard is the best. Oh, and pizza boxes. And the more sugar that's in the cereal, the better the box is. So we have some Nutter Butters, my personal favorite. Honey Bunches of Oats. Kind of healthy. Probably not really though. And pizza. Goodness. All right, so we got the basic layout here kind of figured out for the top. And there'll be a plate that goes across it to connect all that stuff together. I didn't put it in right here, but there'll be a plate back here. And then this one will tie all together and go all the way across, and basically I just make a reverse of this one for the other side. Okay, so we're back. I lost the phone there for a second. The battery crapped out on me. Yet another reason to go get a camera, an actual camera to do these videos with. So, when the last section of the video, of course, it's through the magic of editing, this will all piece together and you won't really miss much. So I cut all the pieces out. And I got them all tacked together and put into place. This one's on this side. Got a little cheesy kind of filler piece right here. I don't really like it that much, but unless I want to chop apart the whole entire bumper and basically do it all over from scratch, which I don't want to do. I don't have the time or the materials for that. So this is gonna do for now. This side over here, let's see if I can swing this thing out here. So this side over here, I had to, this whole entire piece I had to cut free and redo, and so it's just tack welded back into place. So, ooh, seasick. So that's where we are right now. I'm gonna set the camera back up and get a little bit more. I'm gonna start working on the underside and tie that all in. I've put it back on the Jeep once or twice or 100 times, and just to test fit everything, and it looks like it's fitting pretty decent. It's pretty tight underneath the lights, but I think there's a little bit of a adjustment in the lights if I need to, but it does fit. And of course, nothing's straight on the Jeep. Nothing's perfect and equal, so there's different gaps here and there, but man, we're doing the best we can with what we got. I had an old boss that used to tell me, you didn't have time to do it right the first time, but you got time to do it twice. And here we are doing it twice. I should have really stopped and slowed down and taken my time when I first made the bumper in the first place, and I wouldn't be going back and redoing a whole bunch of this work. You know, adding to it, that's one thing, but chopping off pieces that you've already put on to fix them and make them straight and make them look right, that could have been done the first time. So, hey, that's what we do. So I'll set the camera back up and get some more footage of the bottom section now. I'm going to tie the bottom section all together in. So. Now that this whole entire lower piece is just basically for looks. It really doesn't do anything for strength. I would have to come back in with another piece on the back side of it and box it in, and man, I just don't want to do that. It already weighs, shoot, probably 100 pounds, if not, well, probably 75 to 100 pounds, somewhere in that range. Well, and it's with that tire carrier down there, it gets pretty heavy. So it's already pretty stout. I'm gonna trim these edges back and probably cap this end right here and make it look at least somewhat clean. I might end up throwing in a couple more gussets, kind of an angle piece back inside here to strengthen these and kind of keep it straight. When you look down it, I'll let you look down it. It's not 100% perfect. It's a little wavy over there where it kind of ties into the other piece. I only had 4-foot pieces, so I had to tie it in down here in the middle, and it got a little, you can see a little bit of a kink in it. But it's pretty hard to see, but it's in there. There's a little bow, there's a little wave to it. I'm gonna finish welding this thing all up, and it's getting pretty late today. Of course, you guys will get edited in right into the next day. And well, day 2 for you, it's for the magic of editing, it's probably just the next scene, but for me it's day 2. Stayed a little bit late. The boss approved some overtime last night, so I stayed a little bit late and welded up most of the rear bumper. So this is where we are. We got it all welded up. That's the only section that's left to do right there. I don't know why I didn't just do it last night. I must have thought it was done already and just moved on to the rest of it and totally forgot about it. I did add some gussets, some small gussets underneath here. I know I was talking about doing it, not knowing whether or not I was going to do it or not, so. But that's it. That's the majority of the bumper there. So we'll get that last little bit welded up, and I don't think I'm going to spend a lot of time messing with the welds. I think I'm just going to leave them exposed and let the world see my amazing welding abilities and be judged by all. So, okay, so we got the bumper completely welded up now and cleaned off with some mineral spirits, or not mineral spirits, but paint thinner. Got some of this paint thinner, cleaned it all up. And I went over it with just the absolute minimalist with the flapper disc. And when I say minimal, I mean it's my last one. No more left. So I gotta get some more. So just knocked off the high spots, the high edges, and the dingleberries and all that stuff. Just cleaned it up a little bit. So we're gonna paint it next. And I went and got some super heavy-duty industrial style paint. Pretty hard to come by. It's about $4 a can at Home Depot. But it has 2 times the coverage, yeah. And I found a bottle of the good stuff way back, buried in the back of the shelf. So we're gonna get that painted up and mount it onto the Jeep and finish this video up. And there she is, all mounted up. So out on the trail, you just pull your pins. Set it down. And I will say this, I would prefer that. I prefer that style out on the trail. However, around town, if you're grocery getting and all that shit, it makes it kind of a pain in the ass to get into the tailgate. I will say that. So that's gonna do it for this one. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Like, subscribe, share, all that good jazz. Thanks.